Hello, my name is Bradley and I'm your host of The Internal Game. Okay, so Neville Goddard has a quote that says, if a physical fact can produce a psychological state, then a psychological state must produce a physical fact. Because he understood that there's no separation. Everything is one, everything's connected. And if a physical fact, like something that you see in the outside, right, can produce a psychological state, can produce an emotion, you can produce a state of being, then your state of being, whatever that may be, whatever you decide to do, will produce a physical fact. It's all a state game. That's it. And because we're one, we have to be pretty intentional and cautious about what it is we're contemplating, how it is we're thinking about things. Because again, it's the situation is neutral. It's our thoughts about it that would produce the state. Because a situation that is neutral, if you have happy thoughts about it, produces obviously a more favorable state. And if you don't, if you choose to think different thoughts about it, it's going to produce a not so favorable state. Still neutral. But your contemplation determines the whole thing. Like the meaning you assign to something determines the whole thing. Your state of being determines the whole thing. Eckhart Tolle, the enlightened being among us, and he teaches presence and stillness, right? Disidentification with mind. And he's like, if you want to learn stillness, watch a tree. Like think about how simple that is. But he understands. Like, if you're contemplating this tree and then stillness, you become still. If you're contemplating chaos and all that's going wrong, you become chaotic. And if you are chaotic, you produce chaos. As within, so without. Right? It's that simple. So the other day in the membership side, I made a really, really short video, about 3 minutes and some change, about getting yourself into a perfect, wonderful state. Because that's all you need to do. Get yourself into the state. It's not so much about affirming for this. It's about being a person who has it. It's about being in a state that experiences these things that you want naturally. Just like when you are in a unfavorable, fearful state, the shit that starts to go wrong that you didn't even actually, a lot of times weren't even thinking about, specifically, shit just starts going not in your way, or not in your, shit starts going unfavorably for you, right? It's just a reflection of the state. Your state is producing the chaos is producing, and then if you pay attention to the chaos, it reinforces the state. It is what it is. So when you can just obviously how I like to do things, get neutral first, because from a fearful state to feeling amazing and perfect and things like that, it's a bit challenging. But to get yourself neutral, stop buying into thought, recognize that okay, everything's fine right here, right now. I can take a breath, get yourself situated, and then get yourself into a state of perfection. This doesn't mean that you have to do something first before you can feel perfect. Even accepting yourself right here, right now, as you look, as you are, all the stuff that you think that people reject from you, that you actually reject from self, that's been expressed, and then you're like, oh, well, they rejected it. Oh, you rejected yourself first. Whatever you accept fully, other people will accept. That's just how this whole thing goes. But if you were to just even accept and call yourself perfect and see yourself as perfect right here, right now, and start looking at life as perfect no matter what's going on, so you know what, it is what it is, and start looking at and being amazed by life and being amazed by self and this fucking glorious thing that we're doing here, right now, and all this happening and all this around, you would get yourself into such a solid, if you persist in that, such a solid state to experience all these things that you want to experience. And in these types of states, it's so easy to assume favorably, even of specific people. It's all a state game. Your thoughts are different in different states. It's what it is. That's why, like, when you're a fearful state, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around that, like, oh, things can go right, or like, how's this gonna work, or like, but yeah, but they did this or this happened. Like, yeah, you're in that state. It's nothing bigger than that. You get yourself out of that state, you see it differently, because the eyes don't see, the state sees. Whatever state you're in is how you're viewing the world. So ideally, get neutral, and then get your, because you don't want to be viewing the world as a fearful place, because again, you're going to create more stuff to be fearful about, and then you're going to pay attention to the stuff that you don't want, and it's going to reaffirm the psychological state, and then the psychological state keeps producing the physical facts or whatever, right? It's all just you. It's all just you. It's never bigger than that. It's all just you. So like, be cautious and be really intentful about what it is you're contemplating, how you're seeing people, how you're seeing self, how you're seeing the world. You do not need anything to be different to get yourself into a state of like being wanted, being successful, being loved, appreciated. You just start loving and appreciating yourself. You start loving and appreciating life. You start feeling like you're wanted. You walk in the grocery store, you walk in the mall. I don't give a fuck where you go. But when you're walking, you feel, oh, of course I'm wanted. I'm fucking perfect. I'm amazing, just like life is, and my life is amazing. And like, you just start seeing things like this and contemplating this, and you become this. Just like when you contemplate abundance, you become abundant. When you contemplate value, you become valuable, and you see value, and then you start producing things that a valuable state produces. And then you see things as valuable, and it produces that state within you. It's just like it's there's no separation, right? No matter what it is. It's kind of like when I was a kid, I used to think about my mom a lot. She wasn't there, but I remember being like judgmental and resentful and focused on a lot of her behaviors that weren't ideal, and like, she did this, she did that. And then I grew up and I was like that because I contemplated, I became that. Luckily for me, it helped me realize that, like realizing the stuff, and I was able to forgive, because there wasn't really anything to forgive. But like, it was just me conjuring up shit. me seeing my assumptions, me buying into the assumption and thinking it was real, like all the stuff, but it was just me. Just like your world is just you. So, going forward, that's why it's important to live your life. Like I talk about, like, get your hobbies, do your things, like hang out with whoever, and not contemplating the missing, not contemplating the, oh, what is someone doing, or not contemplating the whole fucking, what do I gotta do? Because once I get this, I'll finally feel better. Like, no. When you're actually living your life and being in your own frame and contemplating like the perfection that you actually are, not some mind-made concept of self that's like has all these things wrong with you, and that you're fearful that people don't like, and that you don't like it yourself, all this stuff. Like, no, I'm talking about like, you are absolutely perfect right here, right now, as you are. It doesn't matter. And when you accept this in yourself and you realize this within self, you invite other people to accept this and realize what this about yourself too. And it makes it a whole lot easier to see the world and other people as perfect, and not be resisting self and the world and all this stuff. And like, you're at this point, you're contemplating perfection and you're accepting self. Yeah, right. And nonetheless, when you are contemplating these things, you become them, because you already are them. You just been contemplating other shit that doesn't matter. So get yourself neutral, and if you're already feeling good or neutral, whatever, that's fine. Get yourself into a glorious state. State of success, a state of being wanted, a state of perfection, amazement. Walk around seeing this everywhere. You will activate it within yourself. Okay, example here. If it's hard for you to do that, if it's hard for you to like, okay, it's hard for me to accept myself, then walk around and see the perfection and everything else. You'll activate it within you. Or if you're having trouble like accepting people, or forgiving people, or anything like that, start with self. Start with self. It'll naturally be you'll naturally start assuming of other people the same way that you assume of self. Either way, there are no others. There is no separation. There is no outside. It's all you. And you can use the outside to activate a state that you like. And you can also your state is going to produce physical fact, form, things like that you like. But just get the state. It's not bigger than that. Anyway, ramble on long enough. Keep it short and sweet. Get yourself in a state of perfection. Accept yourself. Be perfect right now, right here, because you already are. All you need to do is realize that. See the perfection all around. See the amazement all around. Be grateful for yourself and the people around you and the world at hand here. And really see the beauty in it all. And you'll become it. And you become that in that state, you're going to experience more of it in the physical facts. And then, of course, you use the physical facts to keep reaffirming that, and you just stay in these states. Easy enough, right? Love you guys. See you soon.